Good morning, students. In the last session, the chapter The Chief Seattle Speech, we saw how Chief Seattle speaks about the difference between the experiences of God's presence in the lives of white people and the red Indians. He speaks that the God of white gave them laws, and it is written on the iron, by the iron finger of God, whereas the uh, white learn and remember them, whereas the red Indians do not have any seen articles that the God has given, but for them the religion is there, the tradition of their ancestors, and the dreams of their old people given by the solemn hours of the night by the Great Spirit. Then he shows the difference between the uh, experience, or say the feelings that they have towards the dead. The white people just forget about their dead, and he says that the dead of the white people also never come back to visit this beautiful land where they existed. But it's opposite for the tribals. The tribals remember their ancestors, their dead people. They love to visit the tombs or the burial places, or where their ancestors' remains are kept, and they love to visit them. And in return, the dead of the tribal people also love to visit the land where they existed once. For them, they are interested in visiting the valleys, the magnificent mountains, the vales, and the rivers and the lakes and bays, etc., because they love to return there and to visit, to guide and console and comfort them. This is the experience of Chief Seattle that he expresses in this speech. Now we shall move to the next paragraph. It matters little where we pass the remnant of our days. What is the meaning? Remnant, the leftover days, part of something that is already left. So he is saying it matters little where we pass the remnant of our days. He says it doesn't matter where we live the rest of our life, the few years that are left for us. They will not be many. They will not be many means the years of this existence of the tribal people will not be many. The Indian in the Indians' night promised to be dark. Why he says the Indians' night promised to be dark? He is saying that there isn't many days for red Indians to remain on this earth. He says their days of a future, or their promises of the future is already dim, that is dark. They are not sure about their future. Not a single star of hope hovers above his horizon. Not a single star of hope hovers means stay close to something, or above his horizon. Horizon here means the heaven, the end. So he is telling there isn't anything that we can live on in hope. So there's no hope left in the lives of red Indians that they can count on something for the future. Sad voiced winds mourn in the distance. All that what they experience is the sad voiced winds mourning in the distance, crying of the movement of the sad wind. Grim fate seems to be on the red man's trail, and wherever he will hear the approaching footsteps of his fell destroyer and prepare stolidly to meet his doom, as does the wounded do that hears the approaching footsteps of the hunter. See how Chief Seattle is comparing the tribal people and their future. Look at grim fate seemed to be on the red man's trail. That means their future is grim, very dim, very gloomy. Very gloomy future is left for is seen in red man's trail. Trail here means in the path, in the road. and wherever he will hear the approaching footstep of his fell destroyer, and prepare stolidly to meet his doom. What's meaning destroyer? One who destroys things. What is stolidly? Stolidly means dully. Syrian stolidly, dully, or with no emotions, to meet his doom, the end. So he is saying, whenever he hears the coming steps of the destroyer, he is dully ready to meet his end. How? As does the wounded doe that hears the approaching footsteps. Just like a wounded doe. Doe here means the dove or a pigeon that hears the approaching footsteps of the hunter. The doe that hears the footsteps of a hunter. Just like that, the red Indians are frightened, gloomy, and they have no hope as they hear the approaching sounds of their destroyers. So we already saw there are two tribes who are already in constant fight with the tribals, the red Indians, that we are already seen in the last lesson. They are Tishmishans and the Haidas. These are the two tribes with whom they are constantly at fight. And here he is comparing his tribal people, the future of the tribal people, with a doe that is frightened at the voice of the hunter. So he is telling they are like that, living in fear. So now let us see the next stanza. Here we have a few more moons, a few more moons, a few more winters, a few, and not one of the descendants of the mighty host that once moved over this broad land or lived in happy homes protected by the Great Spirit will remain to mourn over the graves of a people once more powerful, and more than your hopeful than yours. Let's see what he's saying. Chief Seattle is saying what will be the future of his tribal people. A few more moons, a few more winters, and not one of the descendants of this of the mighty host. That here the host is the tribal people who are ready to give the land to the white man. So he is telling a few more moons and few more winters means a few more years, and not even one person who are now host to the white people will be living on this broad land, or lived in happy homes protected by the Great Spirit. So, those people who lived in this broad piece of land, happily protected by the Great Spirit, will remain to mourn over the graves of the people, will be living here to mourn over the graves of the people once more powerful, who were once upon a time very, very powerful and hopeful than yours. Yours here means than the white Indian. So he is telling here, is in this sentence he is telling, after a few years there will be not a single tribal person living on this earth to go and visit their ancestors' grave, these people who were once powerful and hopeful than the white men. But why should I mourn at the untimely fate of my people? Then the speaker here, Chief Seattle, says, I'm not crying over, I'm not weeping over the untimely fate of the people, untimely death of the people, untimely death of his tribe. Tribe follows tribe. So he is telling one tribe goes, another tribe comes. Nation follows nation. One nation dies, another nation comes. Like the waves of the sea, just like one wave comes and as it goes, another wave comes. So, the same way, nations and tribes come and go. It is the order of nature. So, he is telling life and death is the order of the nature. So he says the existence of his tribal also is a question of mm, law and order of the nature. And regret is useless. Crying over the law of nature is useless. So he is saying, I do not want to cry over the untimely death of his tribal people, because he says tribe follows another tribe, or nation follows tribe nation, and that is the law of the nature. Just like the waves come and go, as one waves go, another comes, just like that. It's order of the nature for a nation to come and then go, and for a tribe to live for some time and then die. So he says there is no use in crying over or regretting over the natural death of his own tribe. Your time of decay may be distant. Here, your means the white people. So he is telling to the white people, your time of decay, your death may be distant, very far away, but it will surely come. Just like we are going to perish now, because the number of the people, of the tribal people, are very few now. That is why he is telling not many tribals live now, and for after few years there may not be this tribe. It may be already vanished from the face of the earth. And he says it will happen to the white people also. Maybe now your number of the people are too many, and your death or decay may be very far, but it will surely come. For even the white man whose God walked and talked with him as friend to friend cannot be exempt from the common destiny. What is that common destiny? That one tribe comes and the another tribe, the one tribe goes and another tribe comes. That is a common destiny, the nature, law of the nature. So he's telling, even if the white people who are considered to be people who have their God along with them, walking, talking, just like a friend, also cannot be free from the common destiny, the law of the nature. We may be brothers after all, we will see. So he says, in that case, we are all brothers and sisters. That is what we see. So here in this paragraph, Chief Seattle speaks about the destiny of his tribe and the destiny of the tribe of the white people. He speaks that his tribe is very few in number and it is almost dying. After a few years, there will be not a single tribal person living on this earth. But he says it is not not only for the tribal people. It also is going to be true for the white, as they also will be perishing one day, even though they have their God along with them. We have almost finished 75 percentage of the chapter, and I hope you must start doing the question answers now. And we have here the first passage. You have the questions here, and then I hope you have already attuned to answering the question. You have the continuation of the first question and then the second one. So here we have got the second passage and the continuation of the second passage here you have. So I hope you will be able to answer these questions by now. So till we come to the next class, please try to solve these questions. Those of you who have got workbook, do in the workbook with pencil. Remember, do all your answers with the pencil, so that in case you write a wrong answer, you can rub it and write it when we discuss it back in the class. And then those of you who do not have, try to get it, it's available, and then do your work. Till we come to the next session, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.